Hey everybody, this is Seth. Can you keep it real? Today I'm here with Saad and Alan, and today we're going to talk specifically about how to do, and this is not an exaggeration, 50,000 revenue a month with Saad and Alan. And today we're going to talk specifically about, and this is really the reason we're going to talk about this is because this has an impact on people when they're asking, well, how do I do it? What does that look like? It's easy to say, oh, 50,000, that sounds great. But how do you actually do that? So we're going to show you the step-by-step process for doing that. Alan has achieved this. He understands how to do it in selling one product, and that product is shoes. So first, he's going to teach. We're going to share our screen. We're going to show you, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So back to you, Brother Alan.
Yeah, man, I got stuck with the audio here.
No problem. I heard the echo from the other window, but it's fine.
It was a Slack video that was still playing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I couldn't find it. So
just Slack or Slacker?
Yeah, I'm a Slacker. Well, I'm gonna share my screen to share with you guys based on my experience and give you some tips and ideas on how to source shoes. So let me share my screen real quick. So basically, I started selling about 2 years ago. And at the beginning, I was trying to sell different things, and then I found my niche. I noticed that most of the things that I was selling on my store were shoe related and shoes and clothing, but shoes was kind of the things that I sell the most. And my biggest, my highest month in sales has been about 52,000. And then I've had months of 38,000, 24, 27. But you can do about $50,000 a month selling shoes, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So to me, finding the best stores is one of the things that is very important, because that way you know where to go and directly to find shoes. So let me give you the list of all the stores that I go and I use, so you guys can take notes and start looking for shoes on these stores, because if you go to Walmart, it's gonna be very hard to find shoes, or if you go to Target. But if you go what kind of stores you can find shoes, it's gonna be better for you guys.
And real quick, I'm gonna jump in, guys. What Alan's talking about is something he's done and doing, so he understands this. When we teach you guys stuff on Amazon, we're not pulling it from a book, we're not pulling it from a blog or an article, we're pulling it from what we are doing from our own life. And this is super important, which means Alan understands the problems with it, the challenges as well. So I really encourage you, think, how can I apply this to my store? What questions or obstacles are you running into along the way? Back to you, man.
All right, so let me run real quick through through all the stores, because I have a whole bunch of them. I know a lot of people ask me, what are the best stores, and I wish it was only a few of them, but you really can go to a lot of them. So and these are going to be stores that I usually go retail and online. So not all of them I do retail, but you can go to Nordstrom's rack, shoes.com, Champion Sports, East Bay, Sierra Trading. That's a good store to store shoes. Macy's, Aerosol, Dixon Sporting Goods, and a lot of these stores, you're gonna find different kinds of shoes. Some of them sell shoes, sports shoes, and some of them are gonna sell dress shoes. So there's a lot of different kind of shoes that you can find all the time. So we do famous footwear, Finish Line, DSW, REI, Bosco's, Shoe Carnival, and those are kind of like the main stores that we buy constantly. Almost every month we're buying from those stores.
Does this mean that I personally am going to drive to this store, let's say Dick's Sporting Goods, we have some here in Austin, and I'm going to buy shoes? Or does this mean I'm going online to find the shoes? Like so you mentioned all these different sourcing, and guys, if you're doing private label and you're also considering arbitrage because you can generate cash more quickly, that's what this is like. So one of the biggest challenges in selling anything anywhere, it doesn't have to be Amazon, is finding a supplier you can trust. Well, what Alan is saying is right here in the US and in the United Kingdom, because you can sell in the US from the United Kingdom, you can you can find and source products within your own country if you're in the US. In other words, we're not talking about China here, we're talking about domestically. So, and it's in English, which is an advantage if you speak English. So, Alan, where do I go? Am I going online? Am I driving? Can you give me some more tips on this, brother?
Yeah, I do both. For example, Nike, I go to the stores most of the time, but I do get a lot of offers online and a lot of coupons online. So I always, go to shop online. So I try to do both. And sometimes when I find that, some styles of shoes are selling good, I will look for those styles, on different places, on different stores. So for example, it's Finish Line, Nike, all those stores I can kind of find the same styles.
Gotcha. So we're talking about stores, not necessarily. We're talking about a mix then, both stores and brand names that are stores, right? Because I noticed you mentioned Adidas, but then you also mentioned Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, what when you're going to the stores now, what are the best brands? Because not every brand is going to sell, or not every brand you're going to be able to sell on Amazon. For example, the brand Crocs, it's a brand that for everything you do, Amazon is not gonna let you sell that brand. But there's a lot of brands, so I'm gonna go through the list of brands that I've been able to sell on Amazon. And again, there's a lot of them, so I'm gonna try to go fast and not mess up all of the names. But we have Tom's, Anu, Asics, Vans, Clarks, Salomon, Adidas, Nine West, Nike, Converse, Chaco, Marel, Keen. This is a test for my English, man.
I want to hear Spanish, Guatemalan style.
Yeah, Guatemalan stuff. Cole Hannan, that's a brand that it's a very high end brand, but it has a lot of profit. If you guys can find, those brands are very good, and some of them are gonna be small brands, but as long as they have a profit, I think it's something that you have to consider to go and find. I know New Balance. We sell a lot of New Balance, and they kind of vary on low and mid end pricing, but they sell very good. So those are kind of like all of the brands that we source, and some of them I couldn't source before, and then I started getting ungated because Mizuno, that was a brand that I have. The manufacturer is here in Atlanta, and I can get them with very good discounts because I'm here. I've been at the manufacturer place, and they can give me good discounts. But I wasn't able to sell that until maybe 6 months ago. So
let's stop on that real quick for a minute. That's such a great point. So if I'm selling shoes in Amazon and I'm scanning, and guys, by the way, you can use your Amazon Seller app from your phone on the website. So if you pull it up and it has a picture and it identifies the picture, very often, more often than not, it'll pull it up for you. It'll show you the profit, which we're going to show you in a minute, all the breakdown of various shoes that you can buy, examples you can use. So if I'm doing that and it pulls up on my Seller Central app, it tells me whether or not this is gated. So what do I do if I'm not gated? In other words, you're sharing all these brands that make me money. What if I'm a new Amazon seller? How do I handle that? Does it mean I need to wait on selling shoes? I need to sell something else, or maybe some of those are ungated?
Yeah, some of the brands are gonna be gated, and then as soon as you start building your sales history, Amazon is gonna start opening up some of the brands. So at the beginning, you're gonna be more limited to the amount of different brands that you can sell. But we've seen people that after 2 months of selling on Amazon, they start getting ungated for some brands, and then after 3-4 months they start getting ungated for the big brands.
Right.
So within 6 months you could be selling on most of the big brands as well.
So the goal is start with the smaller brands, the easier ones, keep selling, keep selling, keep selling. And then eventually at some point, as Amazon sees that your account is legitimate and it's healthy and you're doing a great job, they begin to ungate you for other brands. Do these require a special application, or is it some of it just automatic, Alan?
The way I do it is every time I find a shoe and I'm gated for that brand, I apply to get approval, and if I get an automatic approval, I'm gonna be selling that shoe. But if they ask me for invoices or other things, I just keep it and just keep looking for other brands. And then later on, if I find the same, I'm sourcing and I find the same brand, and I try to get approval again, maybe in a month or a month and a half, they're gonna approve me because of my sales history.
Are you having to pay to get ungated for these brands? I've seen sometimes, like with Disney and other big ones, there's a fee that goes along with it. Has that happened to you, or has it all been free when it comes to shoe brands?
No, I never paid for any ungating on brands.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the next question that a lot of people have is, what are the best sizes and the best colors? Because there's so many sizes and colors. So we started, at the beginning we started selling everything, but we noticed that the most popular sizes for men's is always between 7 and 11, and for women it's gonna be between 6 and 9. Those are the ones that sell the most. It doesn't mean that other sizes are not gonna sell. They just sell a little bit slower. And then when you talk about colors, we noticed that if you're selling sneakers or any kind of tennis shoes, any color is gonna sell because those are gonna be for people that like running, and a lot of young people. So they go for a lot of different colors, mix of colors and things like that. But when you're looking at dress shoes, if you find a very nice pair of shoes that is mustard color or yellow, it's not gonna sell. If you find very shiny colors, they're not gonna sell. So you kind of have to know for dress shoes, black, brown, tan, and blue are the kind of the colors that sell the most. All right. So everything sells to me. Everything sells because we buy shoes size 15 and they sell. We buy size 5 and they sell. But they just, sometimes it takes a little bit longer because there's not a lot of people with big size shoes or small size shoes. But as long as you have 1 or 2 units, and that's the strategy that I use. I always buy 1 or 2 units. That's what I'm looking for.
What do you look at when you're doing this? What do you look for when it comes to BSR? Because obviously that has a huge impact as far as how long it's going to sit there in the inventory versus moving and keep selling. Headline when it comes to shoes. We talk a lot about you want to be in that top 1-2% category of BSR for that product category. So right. What does that look like for you, and how often are you noticing the BSR before you decide to make a decision to buy it? Like everyone, there's several things. Number 1, am I ungated? Number 2, is it profitable? And again, you can see these just from your Seller Central app. People ask what's the best app to use? Seller Central. It's free. Start with that at least. But the third one is, how long will it sit there? Because that freezes my cash. So do you have any advice on that, Alan?
Yes, and it's very interesting because for the clothing, shoes category, Amazon makes a lot of changes. So sometimes they will show you, the how many items are in that category. Sometimes they will show you the rank history, and so they do a lot of changes. What I've noticed most of the time is that any shoes that I find with 100,000 in rank or less, I'm gonna be able to sell within 90 days. That's kind of my rule. If I can sell anything within 90 days, is something good, and I have $7-10 in profit.
So you have to be okay with this, guys. Hey, I may not make that money back for 3 months, but I know I'm going to. At least I'm in the right BSR, so I'm going to send it in and keep working. So don't buy those shoes if you have to live off that money over the next month. You need enough capital to make that work. What for you, Alan, is an ideal BSR? And I know this is very generic, okay? But what's an ideal BSR if you're thinking, man, this thing's going to move at least within a week? What would that BSR typically look like for that brand of shoe or that particular shoe?
Okay. The way I see it is I'm always looking at 100,000 because just for to give an example, 100,000 in shoes and clothing sells about 78 or 80 units a month. So that's good for me. But if I find something with 40,000 or even less than that, I know that shoe or that unit sells a couple hundred units a month. Yeah. We sometimes find units that are 25,000 and less in rank. Those right. I know they're going to be selling very fast.
Gotcha. Very helpful, man. I'm going to actually answer a couple questions that are super relevant to what you just asked, what you just said. So someone said, what are the best categories to get started with? So Saad, someone starting off Amazon Arbitrage, what categories, brother, would you recommend from the beginning?
It all depends on which platform. Like, for example, the marketplace that I'm in Canada, I do toys because not as competitive as in the States. Yeah. But if you're in the States, honestly, I think the toys are a little bit more competitive, and I think it's hard to find good deals because everyone's doing it. I think the shoes is the second. I think it's the first best actually in the States. And also, if you do that, the shoes in Canada, I think you have an edge because the prices are you have a bigger profit margins. But the only thing you need to do is select it with your PSR. So instead of like Alan said, 100,000, I think you should start at 30,000 and less.
For Canada, for Amazon.ca.
But it's a huge opportunity. I have a friend of mine who actually, in 6 months, he was able to open a new store. I'm talking physical store for shoes only.
Well, I'm going to do something, guys. I'm going to share my screen really quick. I want you guys to see some examples of shoes that you can sell. And I want you to see the profit margins on these guys. This is very easy to pull up in your Seller Central application. So first of all, here we got Skechers. We go to the next one. Here we have Skechers again. You can even break it down to the Canadian fees with FBA. What are the gross proceeds? What is the lowest price that it's selling for new? And then here you can see the other offers. And look here, guys, number 7,424. Now we're going to look at Brooks. Your profit, $54. I mean, the opportunity, guys, here with shoes is ridiculous. This is taken from a real live Seller Central account to give you an idea of what are you looking for. Here we have Skechers again. Again, you can see this BSR, this number for shoes. And again, here you see 63.83 profit for these. So it's this, what you're seeing, guys, is the second part of the screen here. Your cost of purchase at 48, your fees with the FBA, if Amazon's fulfilling it for you, $27. The Amazon fulfilled low price in the new category, because here you have Amazon FBA, here you have Amazon FBM fulfilled by merchant. I just want to give you guys ideas. These kinds of deals, they're online right now. Like literally you go to these websites, these brands that Alan's talking about, you get your Seller Central app, you turn on the camera, you put it up here, it pulls it up for you, and you're like, oh, I would make $40. And if you go through enough data, it's just a matter of time until you start being profitable. This is how Kimberly and I started. We had to start somewhere. We doubled our dime up to $400. We started selling earns on eBay. Then they actually took off on Amazon, sold everything in our house that we could, and started doing arbitrage. And that led us into private label. Alan, is there anything else, brother, that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I was gonna share a few tips for when you're doing, when you're selling shoes to prep and ship the shoes. So if you don't mind, let me share my screen real quick. Let me see if I find my, where's my camera? Oh, I remember. Here you go. Let me just share my screen again.
By the way, Alan, I love your office, man. It's incredible. His office, like I thought I had a cool studio. Look at his office, you guys. It puts it to shame. And Saad, we're not going to talk about his office, you know.
No, me is all because of my artists. That you see my kids.
Nice.
So that's my art.
Very good.
And actually, Alan, after if you want, I have like if you want a live example on how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Flipping, yes, I can do it.
Guys,
That would be awesome because
the reason we're sharing our screen, showing you physical examples, taking you through a slideshow, it's one thing to talk about it. We want to show you how to do it. So when you guys are on this Just One Dime YouTube channel, you watch something, you can immediately apply it and go make money. So if you're just sitting there thinking, that's kind of cool, that's interesting, you need to move from thinking to acting. You need to move from thinking and start going out and doing it, guys. There's money sitting there waiting to be made. Here's how I view the world, okay? And I think if you view it this way, it'll help you to succeed. There are 10 million opportunities to become a millionaire everywhere. They're just sitting there. It's just a matter of putting yourself in the right place, doing the work. It'll happen. Will you mess up? Yeah. Will you lose money along the way? Yeah. Will you make mistakes? Yes. But I just want to encourage you guys, act. All this talk we're doing means nothing. It's a waste of your time unless you go do something with it. All right, back to you, Alan. I'm done talking.
all right. So these tips, these are specific for shoes, and especially if you're gonna be doing retail arbitrage, and if you're doing it yourself, if you're having somebody else prep, like a prep center or somebody else do all the prep and ship, you don't have to worry about this part. But if you're doing it yourself, you want to make sure that you buy extra tissue paper so you can wrap the shoes on. If they come with old tissue paper or damaged tissue paper, you want to wrap them up and make them look nice and a good presentation. You also want to use new brown boxes in case the original box is damaged or is sometimes you go to the stores and they don't have boxes anymore.
Right.
So you wanna put them on brown boxes.
And let me real quick jump in, Alan. I think the answer is obvious, but I still want to ask it. Why? In other words, I find brand new shoes. The box is damaged. I get a great discount. Why do I want to go take the pain to go order a bunch of boxes on eBay, get them sent, put it in the box, or send it to the prep center and have it shipped into Amazon's warehouse? Why is that box so important?
Well, you have to think about customer experience, and that's what Amazon wants. If, for example, at the beginning, when I started, I was sending my shoes that I didn't have box and poly bags. And it's, I started getting a few complaints of people, asking, I'm not even sure if these shoes are new. And I realized real quick, that's one of the reasons, because I'm sending shoes in poly bags. So I changed to boxes, and, we've sold over, I think we're getting close to 8,000 pair of shoes. And we haven't had any more complaints about, we never had any complaints about brown boxes. And it's all about the customer experience.
Right. That's perceived value. Does it change the value of the shoes? Are they going to keep the box? Probably not. Are they going to wear the box on their feet? No, that would look silly. They're probably going to throw it away. But all we need is that few seconds of them receiving it. They open it up. It gives the perception of value and newness. Like it's worth it, you guys. You don't want to underestimate. I've seen a lot of people doing arbitrage make this mistake because they're so focused on hustling, which is great, but they'll shortcut it. I don't need a box. I'll just give them the shoe. And they think like this, well, it's still a brand new shoe, so why does it matter? It's got tags on it. Look at this. True, but that's not how they're going to receive it. They're going to receive it as, where's the box? If you at least have a brown shoe box, that increases the perceived value. They're happier. Your account is healthier. You get ungated. Listen, unhealthy accounts on Amazon don't get ungated. So don't shortcut it, guys. Even in arbitrage, I know it's a faster path to cash. Don't have a shortcut mindset when you do it.
Right. So that's about that. I always do FBA for shoes, and that's for shipping savings. I've had the experience of selling on eBay as well, and every time I sell a pair of shoes on eBay, about the same price on Amazon, I always get almost double the profit, because the shipping, if you pay the regular shipping for sending shoes, is very expensive because of the size of the box. And sometimes the weight. So I always do FBA for shipping savings. I always clean them up, even if they're brand new. I always want to make sure that if in case somebody try them up on the store. I always want to make sure I clean them up, I tie them up, and I make sure they look good. And I also use rubber bands on the outside of the box to make sure that the lids don't open up, in case somebody's handling the boxes, and to make sure that they don't misplace the lids on the boxes. Other tips that I want to give you: always have Amazon put all of the returns on inactive status when they get returns, so that you can request them back to your house or your prep center, and you make sure that you check, or you have somebody that you trust check the product before you send them back to Amazon. And that's one of the big issues that a lot of people have, because they get complaints for inauthentic complaints, or people complaining about getting used shoes. So you want to make sure that in case of shoes, you want to make sure that you make sure you check them yourself, or somebody you trust.
Excellent.
And another thing that I know a lot of people get scared about shoes is that the return rate is always higher than any other category. I know most categories is about maybe between 1 and 3 or 4%. Shoes is about 7% in my case, in my experience. But I know that about 95% of all of the returns that I get, I can sell them back, because usually I get them. I inspect all of the shoes; they're brand new, and I can send them back. I only get a few units that I cannot sell, because people switch them, or they maybe use them for a few days, and then they send them back.
Right. And here's what happens, guys. Some customers, they'll receive the shoes. They decide that they don't want them, even though they're perfectly fine. So when they return them, Amazon gives them a drop-down list to select the reason why they're returning. And if they select the reason as the product was defective, then that means automatically they get a refund more likely. Your chance, and it depends on how you have your settings set up, but you're going to get they do that to get a refund often. So it'll be returned, and Alan or Saad or myself or you are going to like, wait a minute, this was returned, it was defective, I can't use it. So what Alan is saying is, if you have it sent back to you, in other words, a removal order, you can set up so it's automatic every couple of weeks, it's shipped back to your house. And again, it requires that you live in the country where you're selling. So if you're selling Amazon.com, you have to be living in the US. If you're selling Amazon.ca, you have to be living in Canada. When you get it back, you're going to find, as he said, well over 90% of the time, the shoe is in perfect condition. So it's fine. You just send it back in. So it's like you're recycling those shoes, and you end up making money. If your profit margins are decent, you still make money, because the shipping fee for removal order is very low. What would you recommend as a safe profit margin, Alan, number one, for the shoes? And number two, would you ever run a PPC ad campaign on selling shoes arbitrage on Amazon?
Usually my goal is to find shoes that have at least $7 in profit and at least 30% net profit. I know I get a lot of shoes that with a lot higher than that, but my average is about 26% net profit. And then for what was the other question? I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked.
No problem, man. So I was asking about your profit, and you answered that question. And the other question, I can't remember, because I was responding to a question in the chat, so I forgot what I asked you. I'm sorry, man.
We both lost it.
I do want to say this. You said 26% profit is your average, or the lowest?
That's my average, about 26% net profit.
So guys, let's look at numbers just for a minute. As you guys know, revenue means nothing unless it's profit, right? So we're talking 13,000 income. That's profit. That's money made per month, just selling those things that go on people's toes. Like, just think about that. If you just said, man, I'm just going to go all out on shoes only, and I'm just going to really go deep on this. And I'd say this in respect to Alan. He hasn't been doing this for decades. He's been that long to get to 13,000 a month. How many people pay you? How many companies pay you like that? I mean, doctors might get paid that much after they pay off their medical debt for 500 years. Finally, they get it all paid off. Like, think about the freedom that provides, all because you decided to sit down on your computer, do a little research, get out your Seller Central app, try this, test this, send it in. Like, you literally can do it from your keyboard. Yeah. There are people who get so critical of warriors, just one dime warriors who are crushing it on Amazon arbitrage. They'll say this. They'll say, I don't believe that's impossible. Like, what are you doing? Or like you said last time, Saad, like, you doing drugs? Like, what are you selling, man? Like, something's wrong here. Because they can't believe it. Like, they can't register. And there's this one time where she told us, she said, you know, I'm making so much money selling on Amazon, and people start criticizing. And even after I make the money and show them, they still say, well, it's just not going to last very long. They're locked into such a critical mindset that their mindset is limiting what they can do. You have to start first with, wait, this is a model that works. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Am I going to run into problems? Amen, brother and sister. But that is no reason not to go and do it.
Yeah.
Back to you, Alan. I've been working with a lot of
the last question.
Some of that's coming out. Good stuff, but go ahead.
I remember the last question was about PPC.
Yes.
I do run an automatic campaign, and I paid 5 cents per click. And usually that it doesn't. I don't do it for to generate sales directly, but that lets me get in front of a lot of people. Yeah. For example, on a 6-month period that I had my campaign turn on, I spent only $350 for clicks. I only did, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000 in sales for that, but I was able to reach 12 million people, or all of my products were able to reach 12 million people, and I ended up selling about $60,000 on that 6-month period, just with that campaign of PPC.
Wow, 12 million, that's incredible. That's insane.
Yeah. So that's all I had for this presentation, and we can go and talk about Q&A.
Okay, cool, guys. Well, here's what I want to do. We're gonna answer a couple more questions. We've answered a few here, and then I have to run, guys, because I have to take care of some other stuff today. But really quick, this is what we're gonna do. This is very last minute, but I want to do it. So for anyone who signs up before the clock strikes midnight, think Cinderella, don't lose your glasses with slipper. We're going to give you a $50 discount on the Arbitrage course. I've seen several people have asked for it. Here's what you're going to type in. I'm going to chat it to you guys, and it closes tonight, no exceptions. Start today. So when you get to the checkout box, the coupon code, type in start today, and it'll give you a $50 discount off of the Arbitrage course. And just to give you guys a little bit of information on, what exactly does that include, the Arbitrage course is taught by Saad and Alan, and it includes 15 screen sharing tutorials to show you step-by-step how to build your arbitrage business. There are 540 minutes of workshops. There's also a private mastermind Facebook group where you can get help from advanced sellers and coaches. And then you also receive 180 free high-ranking leads. And by leads, I mean, imagine getting sent to your inbox, and in this case, a private Facebook group. Oh, this is a product right here. It's a Google Sheet, so you have all the data. Here's the name. Here's the potential profit. Here's what it's selling for. Here's the link to go on the supplier website to purchase that so I can start making money. And these are they're within the top 1% to 2% selling category, percent of that category for its sales. So again, we're only doing this today, and at midnight, my time, Central, this deal closes. So you have to type in start today in the checkout box, the coupon code, and you can sign up and become a student with Saad and Alan. And what I love about these guys, again, is they're teaching it from their life. So these screenshots you're seeing are coming from them or students of this class. All right, I'm going to take a few questions. I'm going to throw a few at you, Saad, as well. I like to throw curveballs at Saad because he just smiles and he likes them. So, okay, here's a good question. I love this question. I'll just go backwards. Mariano says, where do you get the big boxes? I believe he's talking about the boxes for the shoes.
No, shipping boxes.
Oh, the big ones, the shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I use 22 by 22 by 22. I get them from Best Buy, from Home Depot usually, and those are the ones I use.
Nando says, Seth, please speak on reinvesting into your business, please. That deserves a whole video. I'll just give you a brief answer. So reinvestment in my mind is not just financial. It's also relational. It's also time. It's also knowledge. So take from your business to put back into your business, your knowledge, how you're going to grow it, your money, how you're going to have cash flow to order more inventory, your time, and people, hiring people to help you, or getting volunteers who eventually become hires on your team. So it's all about reinvesting. And that's a huge part of just growing as an individual. So when I am growing a business, I'm not just treating the business like, oh, it's making money. I treat it like an individual, like a human, like its own entity. Just like a child needs food to live. If you don't give them food, they die. And then someday that child grows up to bless you. Well, treat your business the same way, okay? The same way. You're going to feed your business. You're going to take care of your business so that someday, just like a tree, it's going to feed you back. It's going to give you results. So I know that's a super broad answer, but if I were you, Nando, I wouldn't take a single dime. Yes, I use that term intentionally. A single dime to buy anything. I would put it right back into your business and let your business grow until it's doing a ton a month. If you can. If you're living off your business, be super disciplined with how much you take home. Because the more you take out of your business, the slower it's going to scale, and you end up making a lot less money. Daredevil says, how many people are in your Facebook group? What is the possibility that I'll get some verified reviews from people from there? So right now, Daredevil, we're talking about arbitrage. So in arbitrage, you're typically selling on a listing that already has reviews. So you're not worried about that. If you're talking about private label, this is a huge topic these days. We teach you methods to increase the generation of legitimate reviews on your listing. Legitimate reviews. And there's over 2,000, around 2,000 people. Jeffrey Moon says, do you recommend setting up an LLC before doing Amazon arbitrage? Saad, do you want to take this one, brother?
Yes, if you want, you can start with. I start with sole proprietorship in the beginning, because my case is a little bit different because I'm Canadian. So for me, sole proprietorship is actually better than LLC if you're doing business in the US. But I mean, for sure, if you're selling in the US, I think you have to do LLC to protect yourself. And if you're doing, I see a lot of Canadians people here. Actually, I was very surprised. For the Canadians, yes, I have a company incorporated Inc. And that's what I conduct my business, because for the sales tax and everything, I want to make sure I have everything that I need. So yes, both of them. And I just would like to, because Salima, she was asking a lot of questions about it, because I know it's very hard for Canadians to find answers in YouTube. So I would just want to give her that, if you don't mind, Seth.
Yeah,
she's talking about the stores and prep centers for Canadian market. Prep centers, I don't know them. I don't think there is here because of the low demand. But for the stores, you can go shop at Winners. You can go shop in outlets. You can get the small shops. If you're like in Montreal, there's small places where you can go and they have a lot of specials. And that's what Alan was talking about for the new shoe boxes, because you're going to get them without a box. So now that's how you can use the box for them. And a lot of specials from Sports Expert and Foot Locker, they have them like monthly. You can go and get them and just box them and good to go. So I'm sorry I went on tangent, but hey, Canadians are very...
Thank you. This is important, and this is what it's for. I really enjoy Sea Monkey's 321 comment. The only thing about selling shoes is that you will never die, but you can lose your soul. Nice one. Do you get the shoes from China? Says Kendula. Are you getting them from China, Alan?
No, everything's in the US and brand names.
Casper Site says, hi, Seth. Are these 150 products unique to each sign up or the same list to everyone who signs up? Alan, I'll let you answer this about the leads list. How do you break that down?
We have up to 50 people per list. So we share those leads with the groups of 50 people.
So once it's more than 50, it's a new group.
We'll add a new list.
And guys, keep in mind, arbitrage and private label are very different in this regard. I'm much more protective about products I'm selling in private label than I am in arbitrage. It's not a big deal. People know the arbitrage because you're buying smaller quantities and then they're gone. And then the next one, then they're gone. Private label is different. You're going to be more protective because you're building a brand. In arbitrage, once it's sold, it's gone. Once someone else sells out, yours comes up next. It wins the buy box. It's the lowest price. It's gone. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. It just, you rarely, I can't sell because someone else had the leads list. No, it's not going to happen unless they're buying like 10,000 of them for, a ridiculous discount that no one could get. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Have you employed people? How many, if that's the case? Kendula, who are you asking? I've employed many people and over like 15. So if that answers your question. Yes, if you're from the UK, you absolutely can do this. In fact, being in the UK, and Marion, who's in this chat right now, she's done this. And Marion, I think you're selling in the UK arbitrage, right? But for a Casper site, you can be in the UK, sell arbitrageamazon.com, no problem. As Saad said, you use a prep center to do that. Okay, guys, someone asked if they can have the slideshow. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? Anyone who joins between now and midnight, again, if you want the arbitrage course, today only, we're giving a discount of $50. Here is the coupon code, start today. And here is the checkout page, or the page where you can get more information. And Alan, is it cool that anyone who signs up, we will give them access to that slideshow to use as they want? Does that sound good, brother?
Sure. I'll send it to you.
Cool. Okay. All right. Awesome, guys. Everyone, have an awesome rest of your day. I hope this has been super helpful to you. Again, if you can take some of this value and go and apply it today and make money, I'm happy, because that's what I had to do. And I will never forget the days of doubling a dime. That's what Saad had to do. That's what Alan had to do. Alan is from Guatemala. Saad is from Canada. I'm from Texas. I mean, the U.S. It doesn't matter where you're from, you guys. Remove all the excuses and get out there and crush it. You guys have an awesome day, all right? And hopefully some of you guys join our team today. See you guys later. Thank you, Saad and Alan.
Take care.
Bye.